Why would a British person joke about having to sell a kidney just to buy a plant?
And we won't have to sell a kidney to afford them.
And what on earth is a right rigmarole? You're about to find out. These are exactly the kinds of natural phrases you'll hear in real everyday English conversations. In this lesson, you're going to come with me and Kerry to the local garden centre, and you're going to listen to us having a conversation. Afterwards, I'll break down all the essential words and phrases you need to know, and then you'll get a chance to really improve your English speaking skills by taking part in that conversation yourself. But now, just listen to the conversation. Hi, I'm Steve. Let's do this.
At the garden centre.
Right, let's try not to go mad. We're only here for a few things to brighten up the patio.
Oh, but look at this place, Steve. I'm spoiled for choice. It all looks fabulous.
It does, but everything here is a bit steep. We have to put our sensible heads on.
The prices are eye-watering. But what about one of these? How sophisticated would that look by the back door?
Sophisticated and about £100. It's a little over the top for our little patio, don't you think? Plus, it would be a right rigmarole trying to get it home in the car.
Come on, Scrooge. It'll be an investment.
You'll have us in the poorhouse. What about this?
What? That tidgy thing? Are you having a laugh? People will need a magnifying glass to see it.
It's very hardy. The label says it's an evergreen, plus it's easy to look after. I think it's just the job.
What job? Being invisible? No. Put that pathetic thing back. Seriously, just leave it to me.
All right, you decide. What do you fancy that's within our price range?
What do you reckon to these? They're not too big, they've got loads of colour, and we won't have to sell a kidney to afford them.
Are you sure they don't need a lot of taking care of?
The label says keep in full sun and water regularly. That's it. Even you can manage that. Come on, we need to make our minds up, or we'll be here all day.
Point taken, it does look quite cheerful, and the price is right.
In that case, should we get a couple of them? Also, do we need anything else while we're here?
We do need a bag of that multi-purpose compost. Might as well kill two birds with one stone. It'll save us having to come back.
Good idea. I'll grab a trolley.
Right, shake a leg. They have a nice cafe here. I'll let you treat me.
I knew it. This was all just an elaborate plan to stuff your face.
Well, it is always busy, and it's pot luck if you can get a table, but it's worth a try. Now, are you going to get that trolley or not? Now let's take a few minutes to go over the key vocabulary from that conversation, so you can really understand and start to use it. And to help you remember everything we cover, I've created a full guide for this lesson. It includes all of the vocabulary, the full conversation, and a quiz to test your knowledge. If you're already on my email list, it should already be in your inbox. If not, and you'd like a totally free copy, you can get it by clicking the link in the description box below. Now, first, at the start of the conversation, I said we were looking for a few things to brighten up the patio. We're only here for a few things to brighten up the patio. And to brighten up just means to make a place look more cheerful and colourful. You might buy some new cushions to brighten up your sofa. Kerry said,
I'm spoiled for choice.
"This is a great British idiom. You use it when you have so many good things to choose from that it's actually difficult to decide. You heard me say, but everything here is a bit steep. A bit steep. This is just a very common informal way of saying something is very expensive. If a friend tells you their new jacket costs £300, you might say, wow, that's a bit steep. To deal with those steep prices, I said we had to put our sensible heads on. This is a lovely phrase, and it means to stop getting carried away and start thinking in a practical, sensible way. You heard Kerry describe the prices as eye-watering.
The prices are eye-watering.
We use this to describe a number, usually a price, that is shockingly high. For instance, the cost of renting a flat in London is eye-watering. I also said getting the big plant home would be a right rigmarole. Plus, it would be a right rigmarole trying to get it home in the car. And a rigmarole is any process that's long, complicated and annoying. We often add right just to make it seem stronger. A right rigmarole. Make sure you pronounce your R's in the British way by using your lips to make the sound and not your tongue. It's right rigmarole. You try. And in a sentence, getting a new passport can be a right rigmarole. You try. I was joking when I said Kerry's spending would have us in the poorhouse. This is a very old-fashioned, informal way of saying we'd be left with no money. We'd be in the poorhouse. When I picked up that very small plant,
What? That tidgy thing?
Kerry called it tidgy. And tidgy is a lovely, informal, casual word for something that's very small. You probably wouldn't write it in a formal essay, but you hear it all the time in conversations. Then she said,
Are you having a laugh?
this is a classic informal way to express disbelief. It means, are you serious? You must be joking. When I was trying to defend my plant choice, I called it hardy and evergreen. In the context of plants, hardy means it's tough and can survive the cold, and evergreen means it never loses its leaves, even in the winter. Kerry, on the other hand, called it pathetic. If something is pathetic, it's so weak or useless that it's almost laughable. You could say,
He was pathetic in that meeting.
I asked Kerry, what do you fancy? This is a very natural way to ask someone what they would like or what they feel like doing. Notice there's two ways of pronouncing do you. The first one is to use schwa sounds for the oohs, so it becomes d, y. And the second one is simply to use the j sound, so it becomes what you fancy. You try. You then heard Kerry suggest some plants that were in our price range. This simply means something we could afford. And she joked we wouldn't have to sell a kidney for them.
And we won't have to sell a kidney to afford them.
And this is a great piece of modern English. You use it to say something is incredibly expensive. You'd have to sell a kidney to buy a Ferrari car. We then agreed to make our minds up. This is a very common idiom. It just means to make a final decision, to make your mind up. Finally, Kerry convinced me of what plant we should buy, and I said, point taken, point taken. This is a way of saying, okay, I understand and accept what you're saying. It's also a good way to end a small disagreement. You heard Kerry ask,
In that case, should we get a couple of them?
In fast, natural speech, we almost never pronounce shall we very clearly. It usually gets squashed together to sound like shwi. Listen again.
In that case, should we get a couple of them?
You try in this sentence. Shall we have pizza? Next, you heard me mention multi-purpose compost. Let's break that down. Multi-purpose just means something that has lots of different uses. And compost is the special soil you use for putting in pots. So multi-purpose compost is simply an all-round soil for most types of plants. Then I use the idiom, might as well kill two birds with one stone. Kill two birds with one stone. This means to achieve two things in one action. For example, I'll drop the kids off at school. On my way to the supermarket, I'll kill two birds with one stone. To hurry Kerry up, I told her to, right, shake a leg. And she joked that my plan was an elaborate scheme to stuff my face. To stuff your face is a rude way of saying eat a lot of food. Remember, all these and more expressions you heard are available free in the guide. Just click the link in the description.
Now it's your turn to really boost your English speaking skills. You're going to take my part in that conversation. Your words will appear on the screen as you need them. And for the best results, speak out loud. At the garden centre.
Right, let's try not to go mad. We're only here for a few things to brighten up the patio. It does, but everything here is a bit steep. We have to put our sensible heads on. Sophisticated and about £100. It's a little over the top for our little patio, don't you think? Plus, it would be a right rigmarole trying to get it home in the car. You'll have us in the poorhouse. What about this? It's very hardy. The label says it's an evergreen, plus it's easy to look after. I think it's just the job. All right, you decide. What do you fancy that's within our price range? Are you sure they don't need a lot of taking care of? Point taken, it does look quite cheerful, and the price is right. We do need a bag of that multi-purpose compost. Might as well kill two birds with one stone. It'll save us having to come back. Right, shake a leg. They have a nice cafe here. I'll let you treat me. Well, it is always busy, and it's pot luck if you can get a table, but it's worth a try. Now, are you going to get that trolley or not? When it comes to choosing your next English lesson, it's easy to feel spoiled for choice. So to make it simple, I put what I think is the perfect next video for you right here. It's packed with more of the natural everyday phrases that will really get you sounding British. If you give it a click, I'll see you there.